Hello and welcome to Wisdom Trek. This is Guthrie Chamberlain, and I'm your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 7-day-a-week, 7 Minutes of Wisdom podcast. This is day 117 of our trek, and yesterday we explored the reasons we make excuses and realized that it boils down to primarily fear. Today we want to extend this exploration and discover the types of excuses that we make. And then tomorrow we will learn how we can eliminate excuses forever. Please make sure that you listen to all 3 episodes. In celebration of our 100th day of Wisdom Trek, please check out wisdom-trek.com and sign up for a free Wisdom Trek t-shirt drawing that will take place on October 5th. We are giving away 7 Wisdom Trek t-shirts. We are recording our podcast today from our studios at Home 2 in Charlotte, North Carolina. This has been a very exciting day for the Wisdom Trek team. Our younger daughter, Janet, turned 30 today, and we were able to celebrate with her and Rowan, our son Fred and Doug, along with a few other family members and friends. I'm not sure when Janet passed me in age, but I guess it did happen. It was a very nice evening together, though. We were also able to have our close friend Howard over for an early dinner this evening. It was great to get caught up with him on his recent activities. And then our niece Sarah Jenkins and her husband Andrew gave birth to their son Bennett today. Next, I was featured in a podcast interview that was released today on the All In podcast show hosted by Dan Giordano. The link for the show is included in today's Wisdom Trek journal. And last, but certainly not least, our middle son Barnabas and his wife Leisha went to the hospital today, and we are awaiting the arrival of our 6th grandchild. Granny and Gramps are certainly anxious for the news of her arrival. With all the good news and the activities for today, it was a bit hard to focus on the work at hand. But we will not let these events to keep us from our tasks that need to be accomplished. It is so easy to use daily activities or events in our lives, our current situation, or our upbringing as excuses, but we need to take the responsibility for the outcome and results in our lives. On today's trek, we want to examine the 11 common excuses that we all use at times, and then tomorrow we will learn how to overcome them. Now our trail today is going to be a longer one, so strap on your hiking boots and come along with me for a fast-paced trek over the 11 excuse mountains. Excuses come in many forms, and we tend to make them in many different ways. Even though excuses can vary from person to person, there are certain excuses that we all tend to make at some point or another, and on our trail today we will break down the excuses and discuss what they mean and how we can deal with them when they do crop up in our life. So excuse mountain number 1, there is not enough time. Which really means that you're lacking passion, focus, discipline, and direction. Likewise, it suggests that your priorities are out of sorts and that you may be lacking the ability to manage your time effectively. Alternatively, this excuse could indicate that you simply don't value your time or just don't want to take the time to do what you feel you must in order to achieve your desired outcomes. In fact, the causes of this excuse could very well be narrowed down to procrastination or laziness. Excuse mountain number 2. There's not enough money, which means that you don't consider money to be a priority, or you just are simply looking for an easy way to make money and therefore don't have the desire, determination, persistence, or patience to work hard to achieve financial security. This excuse also suggests that you could simply be lacking strategy or ideas that could help you to reach your financial objectives. A suggestion is that you might read a few books, get a mentor or a financial coach who can help you to gain some necessary knowledge and understanding what you need to do to succeed financially. Excuse mountain number 3, I don't have an education, which means that you really lack creativity, inspiration, and desire. In addition, it would seem that you also lack willingness to work hard and go the extra mile to put in the little more effort into achieving your objectives, despite your lack of knowledge. There are many multimillionaires and billionaires who have nothing more than a high school education. Some don't even have that. However, they were creative, had the desire, and were willing to work harder than anyone else to achieve their goals and objectives. Excuse mountain number 4, I'm too old or I'm too young, which means that you lack understanding, confidence, and perspective. Men and women of all ages have achieved great things. Therefore, you are never too old or too young to attain your goals and objectives. It might be a little more difficult, which means that you may need to be a little bit more persistent, creative, and open yourself up for a greater array of experiences and opportunities. Alternatively, your age could actually work to your advantage. It just depends on your perspective and your ability to think flexibly about your circumstances. Excuse mountain number 5, I don't know how, which means that you lack the belief and confidence in your own abilities. It also means that you haven't taken the time to practice, learn, and gain the experiences or education that are necessary to know what to do. This excuse is really very easy to combat. Simply learn how to do what you want to do by studying, reading books, by gaining practical experience, by asking for help, or other means. Only by making mistakes over and over again will you eventually discover what works and what doesn't work for you. Excuse mountain number 6. I can't change, which means that you lack the motivation and reason to change. Moreover, this suggests that you lack the emotional pain that would help you to accelerate change. When it comes to our motives and desires, we are always pulled forward by the desire for pleasure or pushed forward by the desire to avoid pain. If you don't believe that you can change, the reason for this is that you simply haven't associated enough pain or pleasure for not changing. Once you begin to look at all the dire consequences that will result from not making the change, then you will soon realize that the motivation was already there. Excuse mountain number 7. I'm afraid to fail, which means that you lack understanding, confidence, knowledge, and experience. Fear is nothing more than false evidence appearing real. It is our perspective of fear that frightens us and prevents us from moving forward. However, once we gain knowledge and understanding about the thing we fear, then that is the moment that we will build enough confidence to move forward and gain some experience. Subsequently, with enough experience under our belt, we develop even greater self-confidence that will propel us through our fears and toward the attainment of our goal and objectives. Also consider that the trail to success is always strewn with obstacles, challenges, and problems. Along this path, everyone makes mistakes. However, those who fail are simply those who give up and excuse their life away. Excuse mountain number 8. It's not the right time, which means that you lack perspective, information, and resources. Sometimes it is simply not the right time or season of life to take action. More often than not, it's just a lame excuse that should indicate your lack of perspective or you simply don't have the necessary resources to deal with the circumstances at hand. Therefore, your first objective is to acquire the necessary resources that you need that will help you to attain your desired outcome. Excuse mountain number 9. I have to plan thoroughly first, which means that you're lacking perspective or you simply are paralyzed by fear. There's nothing wrong with planning for the future or taking the time to lay out a clear plan of action. However, if planning is all that you do, then it indicates that you might have an underlying fears that are preventing you from moving forward. Identify and overcome these fears, and subsequently, you will overcome the need for over-planning. Excuse mountain number 10. It won't work, which means that you lack self-belief, motivation, creativity, patience, perspective, and persistence. All of these qualities are essential if you desire to eventually make things work. In fact, these qualities are absolutely essential for everything of value that you want to create in your life. And excuse mountain number 11. I'm just not inspired, which means that you have poor habits which lead to a lack of discipline. Think about the kinds of habits you indulge in on a daily basis and about your typical routine throughout the day. More often than not, you will find that inspiration isn't the problem if you simply take the time to transform how you go about your day. For instance, the lack of sleep could be causing you to feel tired, which leads to a lack of inspiration. And if we dig a little deeper, we could find that it's your diet that's causing you your sleepless nights, or that your lack of sleep is the result of not getting enough exercise throughout the week. Moreover, maybe you're just simply not getting enough exercise because you're working longer hours than usual, therefore don't have the time to allocate for exercise. Now that we've explored the 11 excuse mountains and have trekked over them, join us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. And tomorrow we will learn how to eliminate these excuses forever. And that'll finish our podcast for today. Remember to listen to your daily dose of wisdom at wisdom-trek.com, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, or on YouTube. And please share Wisdom Trek with your family and friends so that they can come along with us each day. The journal for today's podcast can be found at wisdom-trek.com. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, your friend, as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal each day. And as we take this trek together, let us always live abundantly or fully, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. This is Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and to create a great day every day. See you tomorrow.